What's happening, fam? Just as a prologue to this video, this is just going to be part one. You're going to see later on in the video that obviously I ran into a little bit of issues with their turn signals and whatnot. So next video in part two, I'm going to show you guys an inexpensive way to fix the hyper flashing issue that I will experience. This is literally like a couple days after I did the video, so stay tuned, enjoy the vid. Take it easy. So guys, I just want to show you, it literally looks like a big circular, it's like a big chain. Okay, so this is that green harness, some OLM right here. That one connects to the orange and gray. Okay, then this is the big meaty harness right here from OLM. Okay, see it? That's the one that gets connected to the green and black. And that same big meaty one, this triple one here, gets blocked off. We're not using that. This is the DRL wire on it right here, which gets connected to that additional tap that Subispeed gives you, which gets connected to the blue wire. Okay, and the big meaty one gets connected to the big harness on the back of the Subispeed light. And then the turn signal harness right here gets connected to this, is this blue pass-through right here. See it? Gets connected to this set right here, which gets connected to the green. So it all runs in a big circle, if you look at it. So it's running from here, big circle. So if you want, you could pause it, do whatever you need to take a look at it. But it's not that bad. What's happening, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. This is the last day in April and it's still cold outside, so that's why you see me with all my winter gear on. But anyway, just wanted to show you real quick. You guys saw from the time lapse, you saw me unboxing these dope set of Subispeed Redline V2 headlights, and it took me a while to actually pull the plug to get these. I've almost had Hulk for about 5 years now, and I love these lights, especially with the adaptive lighting when you're turning your steering wheel at night. And but it just wasn't going with the theme of the car, you know what I mean? And I actually thought about even sending them into like Circuit Demon or something like that to have something nice done with the stock lights. But not only, you know, I mean, it is costly, but they have a pretty big delay right now for a minimum of like 2 months. So I don't want to, you know, I have a lot of shows to go to, so I don't want to miss out on the car season. So what I did was I got these for about 30% off. As I said, I pulled the plug on this and I was like, can't go wrong, right? The only thing is, you guys have to remember, these lights especially, they make them plug and play with all their harnesses, like for certain fog light bezels. And I have one of the anomaly, I have the tri bezels here, and also you saw me like testing with my tester and stuff like that. They sent a lot of harnesses, so get ready. The reason why they sent extra harnesses from OLM is because the harness that comes in the back of this right here, it's not going to mate up with your harness here. and obviously that's an issue. All right guys, so before I delve into anything deeper, I just want to let you guys know their packaging was freaking immaculate. The stuff was boxed really nice. There's some directions over there, but it's really not going to help you too much as far as installation wise. It's talking about condensation, about the set screw in the back for adjustment, stuff like that. In the box you have this harness right here. This gets tapped into the fuse box underneath the hood for your DRLs. Now you also have this hyper flash module right here, this resistor, and I already found out that I did have some hyper flash, and they send these harnesses from OLM. So guys, by the way, just a small caveat, this added fuse for the DRLs, most likely we might not have to use this, and I'll show you why. I almost forgot this little piece right here. This is a wire tap with a plug, okay? And if you notice on this extra big OLM harness here, you have one that says DRL. So as easy as I'm going to show you. Also, by the way guys, they provided some block off plugs, so I'm going to show you exactly, easy as pie, how to do this, and I'm going to put up a diagram as well. So this is a Subispeed headlight, obviously. Right here you have your connector, your OLM connector. So you put this bad boy, connect this one. I'm trying to do it one-handed, so come on, there we go. Click. Okay, now this DRL one right here, you're going to be plugging this in right here into the tap. Okay, now that's a nice snug fit too. Now remember the blue line that the added fuse is supposed to connect to from the fuse box underneath? So instead of running the added fuse, this DRL one plugs into that instead. Okay, now as I told you before, this one here, because it's connected, the signal is just going to flash, blink, blink. On mine's, if I disconnect it for the sequential, it's a hyper flash. So I'm going to have to go in and install this relay afterwards and see if it fixes the problem. If it doesn't fix the problem, guess what? I'll just leave this connected and it'll just blink. Okay, now then you take this other harness right here, the one with the green wires on it. This is the big OLM harness right here. This is the green harness. Find a plug that fits, connect that up right there. And then you have this one here, this turn signal harness right here. It has like 4 holes in it. It gets attached to this prong right here, has 3 pins in it. So that is how it works. Now you could take this one here, this one right here, it's like has 3 pins in it. There's a block off plug. We're not going to be using this, so you could just put that in there. Okay, this one here, you're not going to be using it. That's a connection for fog lights, so don't worry about that. And this one here with the 4 pins, we're not going to be using that, so we're going to block that off as well. This orange and black one right here, okay, you're going to use this other block off connector and click. So this is blocked off, this orange and black one right here. Okay, this one is not used because you need extra hardware if you're running like different types of fog lights. And this one that looks like a little clover or something like that, that gets blocked off. So now this main harness right here, we're going to be connecting right to the car. You get what I'm saying? So now it looks to me like the added fuse portion is not going to be used. So I just got to put everything back in the fuse box because this is already taken up. Once I joined everything together, See this connection right here from the Subispeed lights? When you turn the signal on, it's gonna blink, and that's gonna be normal. If you want a sequential function, you have to loosen this like so, and it does sequential. But the issue with mine is it's hyper flashing. So most likely I'm gonna have to use the module. Now, if you don't connect all this stuff up together right, and guys, it's literally plug and play, but it is a lot of wires, so just don't get intimidated by it. If you don't connect this stuff up together, the signals won't even work. So now what I was doing was I was testing some wires in the clip that you saw. Well, I'm gonna put it up again. And what I was doing was I was testing wire for power and which one has flashing like a turn signal. So this orange wire, this set right here, I was testing this with my tester and it was blinking, which means a turn signal power drawer is connected to it. And so this could be a potential for me to hook up my fog lights. Remember, my fog lights are tri-bezels, they're XT18 bezels. So they're not like regular bezels that come with a Subaru that it would have a plug-in just to plug this in and call it a day. So now I got to do some extra work. So also those tri-bar bezels, not only do they have turn signals on them, but they also have running lights too. So I ended up testing this one here, and this has a constant power source, so that should be able to work for my DRLs in the fog lights. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, guys, you're gonna have to take your bumper off. I'll put a link up. Taking off the bumper is really, really easy. It's more of a pain in the ass to me because I have all this stuff going on, all my underglow and stuff I have to disconnect. Once you finish taking the bumper off, got to take the stock headlights off. Now remember, as I said, this is an 18 STI. Got it? So what you're going to be doing is this. You need a 10mm socket and extension, and you have one here, got this pop clip right here, get that out. Then you have to take off this bumper support. You have one here, one here, one here, and one recessed right here. A lot of videos on YouTube, when you watch them, you can't see this bolt right here. This is right in the corner right here. Okay, once this comes out, the headlight, it'll be easy to come out. But I have a lot of stuff tapped into it, into the back of the harness, so now I have to get all that stuff out. Okay, so I'm gonna just time lapse through that real quick, and I'll see you. All right, guys, so we got a little bit to cover here, but don't be scared about all this stuff right here. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna explain everything now. So these tri-bar bezels here, these XT18s, they have running lights and turn signals right here. And from the time lapse, you saw that I got the turn signals to work with the Subispeed headlights without any hyper flash. Now, I'll show you something real quick. Okay, so the XT18 bezels, they have 3 wires. Where are they? I have them tied up here. I have them as these yellow, black, and green wires right here. So from the time lapse, what I did was I tapped into the wires while the turn signal was on, okay? And this wire here that extends from this OLM harness, it's pretty much like a pass-through harness, because what would happen is if I had the other fog lights that other brands sell, this would just plug into it and the fog lights, the turn signals will work pretty fine. But obviously I don't have that. It's different fog lights. Now I also have these eagle eyes here as well. So what I did, and pay attention to this, so the orange wire, once you connect up this OLM harness, this orange wire is the turn signal, this gray is the ground for it, or you could connect it to this black one. Either way, you're fine. It's a ground, okay? And the turn signal works. Now to get power from this green one, you need a constant source for the running light. And what I found is this bad boy right here. I took my tester tested it, and I'll show you real quick what I did. Okay guys, so what I'm gonna do is I turn the ignition on, and what I'm doing now is I'm gonna test the wires, and I want to show you how I got to the conclusion for constant power. So what I did was, you can see right here, this one, if you can see my tester, see how my tester lights up. Hopefully you can see it. Yep, so the tester lights up, and it's the bottom pin which corresponds to this green wire right here. So you can use that as a constant ignition source. Now I need one for my eagle eyes. I have to reconnect the harness first so I can show you what I mean. So now harness is reconnected, and this is my nighttime sensor right here. So what happens is, if I cover that, those Subispeed lights should light up. Let's see, covered it. See it? Give it a couple seconds. That noise is my freaking fuel system, guys. It's super, super loud. There we go. So now what I had to do was I had to disconnect the harness again. When I was testing this, no other one had any type of power. Okay, so you want to check to see which one you're getting power from. So this is the bottom one that I checked before for the ignition. This is the bottom one here that I checked before for the ignition. And then this center one right here, now it has power when the nighttime sensor kicked in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the let me leave it right there. Okay, I want to leave it right there with some tension on it, so hopefully you could see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you see, so right now it's lit. Okay, now once I pull that cloth away, it should turn off. Yep, it did. So that right there, this middle pin on, if you're looking at it, that middle pin on the right side, which corresponds to this brown wire, that is your nighttime lights that'll turn on auxiliary, like if it senses any type of darkness. So the green is constant power for the fog lights, and this one here, this brown one, will work for my eagle eyes. And that's it. Now, since I've done everything that I've needed to do to make everything work, like my fog lights, my eagle eyes, everything, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to neaten everything up, and I'm going to put this side into the car. Okay, I'm going to put this side into the car and see how it looks with the inside. So guys, I just want to show you, it literally looks like a big circular, it's like a big chain. Okay, so this is that green harness, some OLM right here. That one connects to the orange and gray. Okay, then this is the big meaty harness right here from OLM. Okay, see it? That's the one that gets connected to the green and black. And that same big meaty one, this triple one here, gets blocked off. We're not using that. This is the DRL wire on it right here, which gets connected to that additional tap that Subispeed gives you, which gets connected to the blue wire. Okay, and the big meaty one gets connected to the big harness on the back of the Subispeed light. And then the turn signal harness right here gets connected to this, is this blue pass-through right here. See it? Gets connected to this set right here, which gets connected to the green. So it all runs in a big circle, if you look at it. So it's running from here, big circle. So if you want, you can pause it, do whatever you need to take a look at it. But it's not that bad. All right, guys, one light is sort of in. I got the car running. Let me turn the signal on real quick. So it works with my fog lights. And the Subispeed headlights. Okay. So as I said, on the harness from the Subispeed lights itself, this brown one, that is for the when it gets dark. I'm going to show you in a second. When it gets dark, these eagle eyes are going to come on, and the sea lights and the headlights are going to turn on. This green one right here, that's constant power. That's constant power for these bezels. Okay, so I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to cover up the sensor on the dash. Covered it. It's going to turn on at any second. Watch both of them, the eagle eyes and the headlights. Give it a couple. There we go. It works flawlessly. So the turn signal works and the lights work. So anybody who has these aftermarket bezels, you can make it work. It's not that hard. Okay, and as I said before, this adafuse right here, it's the same thing as plugging this in right here. Same exact thing. Okay guys, couple things to note when you're putting this stuff back on. On this tab right here, this connection tab right here, there's a tab just like this, but on the back of this little piece right here that goes, I don't know if you could see it, it goes through that hole to the bottom. Okay, and then see this tab right here, make sure that goes into that hole. Okay, now something that I also forgot to mention, there is another pop clip that goes in this hole right here. Okay, I'm going to show you real quick when I'm putting this. When I'm putting this in. This pop clip goes right in here. And it holds it in like super snug. So just be aware of that too. Okay, that's where that pop clip goes. All right guys, so the inside, where this is the OEM flasher right here from Subaru. To get to that, it's right behind the steering column over here, where you see I have these gauge wires running. And pretty much, you just, as you saw from the time lapse, you pry this cover off right here. You don't really need to pull off this rubber trim right here. You don't need to. Just pry it off with a pry tool. There's a Phillips head screw that goes into here. Take it out. And this whole thing, just pull it away. I have a lot of gauge wiring and stuff like that, so I have to be very, very careful how I pull. And then you'll see it back there. Now, it's attached to this real quick. It's this tab right here. And this tab, it holds it up to the top of the, there's like a a brace over there. It just holds it up there. So what I would tell you to do is take a pry tool, pry it off, or pull it off, and then what you need to do is, all right, so what I was trying to show you before, that's the front of it like that. You got to take the clip and you slide it in like so, and then you go to the back of it and try to slightly pry up without breaking it. But I will tell you this right now, this shit's a pain in the ass, so I'm not putting it back in. Oh well. All right guys, so the bumper is back on. Now let's test out the functions really quick. I'm gonna turn on the ignition. When I turn the ignition on, these 3 stripes here are supposed to turn on. Perfect, as you can see, they're on. Now, let's try the signals. Signals work. As I told you guys, I put the new flasher in there. I'm gonna contact Subispeed about it. The new flasher does not work, so the sequential function is hyper flashing. So it is what it is. That works. That side works as well. These are the parking lights. Now the low beam. Pretty good. High beam. Pretty good. So now it's on auto. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of cloth over the sensor and make sure it's working. So it should take a couple seconds to turn on. That's as long as it's on auto. Oh yeah, that's perfect, man. Perfect. That's it. Guys, you know what to do. Definitely like, subscribe, comment. So now I showed you guys where you can wire this up with different fog bezels. You don't have to have the one that's plug and play. You can do it, just test the wires, but pretty much kind of spelled it out for you. There's wires with constant power. There's wires that have the intermittent signal as a turn signal. You guys see it right there. Anyway, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to contact Subispeed with my questions about the sequential turn signals, because I really wanted that function. I like that. That's pretty cool. But everything works. The C light works and everything like that. Also, just in case the C light does not work, if the C light does not work, there's a 10 amp fuse on the inside. I'm going to put a picture up. It's a tail clearance fuse. That tail clearance fuse is a 10 amp fuse. If that fuse is blown, the headlights are going to work, but the C lights are not going to work. It's pretty cool. By the way, guys, just in case you were wondering, these the lenses on the lights, they're clear. It's because the inside is all blacked out. It gives the illusion, you know what I mean, that smoke illusion. Especially I like how they kind of black this out as well, where the amber marker, it's not too pronounced while the car is, or while the lights are off. But other than that, guys, this was pretty dope. By the way, let me show you something real quick. One more thing before I go. I'm going to put an arrow, that set screw all the way down there. That is for leveling your headlights. So if your lights are not level with whatever you're facing against, you can adjust it like that. And guys, remember, do not turn that screw too much before you break it. Again. All right, guys, another little tidbit. I just wanted to show you something. When I did the video and I started the car, the DRLs weren't working at all. I'm going to use my truck for this example. The other day I took the car for a ride and I noticed it wasn't like a super dark day or anything like that. It was just something like this right now where, you know, it's kind of overcast, which it's not going to make the sensor trip, if you get what I'm saying. So I noticed on the reflection of another car that the DRLs were working, where that's the vertical bars and the C lights. So I'm like, maybe it's because it's being driven, maybe it's sensitive, maybe it reset, because this is the reason why. It's the e-brake. The e-brake is the trigger. Watch, I'm going to show you. I'm going to put the e-brake down. See how it turns on? Pull it up, down, turns on, up, off, down, turns on. So that is the secret to these DRLs. So once you put the e-brake down, it's going to turn on. So I hope this helps you guys. Oh guys, one more thing. See that blinking light right there? SRH. That light will always blink now, because this car had steering responsive headlight. That's what SRH stands for. Where if you're steering the car at night, the headlight moves with it. Or even if you, let's say you've turned the ignition on, it primes itself, it moves backwards, you know, left to right to adjust itself, make sure everything is working. Pretty much like running a diagnostic. Now that's not in the car anymore. So Subispeed gives you a little baggie with some stickers. So I will do a follow-up video on how to block out that constant flashing, because it will always flash now, just because. So you don't have to block it out if you don't want to. I'm going to try to figure out how to do it.